Chapter 58 of The Ice Monster by David Walliams, narrated by me. Chapter 58, Slicing Through the Ice. "Which way is the North Pole, sir?" piped up Titch. "Straight ahead, men," commanded the Admiral, pointing downriver. "Then, when we reach the sea, make a left." Just as the mammoth's arrival into the city had been a cause of great excitement, its departure was proving even more so. Word had spread fast, and soon it seemed like every Londoner was running along the banks of the Thames, eager to be part of this awfully big adventure. The proud old Admiral saluted them, which made the crowd cheer loudly. "Hurrah! Hoo!" called out Woolly, as she appeared to wave with her trunk. This made the crowds go wild. Hurrah! It was a happy scene and put joy into the hearts of all on board the Victory. Titch sidled up to Dotty. "I was nearly a goner," he said. "What happened, my love?" "I thought you'd been shot," she replied. "Oh, it was much, much worse than that. A stitch." A stitch? "Yeah, a really bad stitch can be deadly." "I didn't know that," replied the lady. "Maybe I need to kiss it better. Where does it hurt?" The old soldier pointed to his lips. "Here." They kissed. It was the shortest, sweetest kiss in the history of kisses, but the long-awaited meeting of their lips felt like fireworks to them, and they both looked up light-headed as they parted. "Oh, I think I need to sit down," said Dotty. "I think I need to lay down," said Titch. "This is no time for kissing, sailors," commanded the Admiral. "We have a ship to sail." And as he gave his orders, the men went to work. Soon, HMS Victory picked up speed and began slicing through the ice with ease. As the ship sailed through East London, getting nearer to the sea, the ice became thinner. HMS Victory began sailing faster and faster until it passed out on the Thames estuary and into the open sea. "Hurrah!" cried the pensioners. "Hoo!" cried Woolly. "Port side!" ordered the Admiral. This was the nautical term for the left side. Waves were now hitting the ship, causing it to sway from side to side. The mammoth had installed herself at the prow, like an unofficial figurehead. Her trunk dangled down and covered the actual figurehead, which was a royal shield and a crown, with a cherub on each side. Elsie sidled up to her friend. "Looking north again?" she said. The girl gazed out across the endless sea. The North Pole was thousands of miles away. "We'll get you home, Woolly, I promise." With that, she stroked one of the mammoth's big furry ears. Woolly gently pushed her body against the girl as a way of saying thank you. "Hoo!" she cooed. Chapter 59, A Diamond Dust of Stars. Days passed at sea. HMS Victory sailed round the furthest tip of Scotland and found herself alone in the deepest, darkest North Sea. Weeks passed and the ship travelled north. The sea grew rougher and rougher. Waves as tall as trees crashed over the Victory. Splish! Splash! Splosh! Everyone had to work together to stop the ship from sinking, even Woolly. The mammoth hosed up the pools of the water on deck with her trunk and sprayed them back overboard. Another night descended on the Victory, as at last they passed into calmer waters. The pensioners worked in shifts and slept in the bunks below deck. Woolly was too large to fit, so when it was time to sleep, Elsie stayed with her, just like at the hospital. The pair of best friends snuggled up together. "Good night, Woolly," Elsie would say. "Hoo!" Woolly would reply, which, if translated from mammoth language, means, "Good night, Elsie." The girl would tuck herself in under the soft fur of Woolly's belly. The mammoth would then shuffle her legs together to protect her friend from the cold. Woolly made the softest, comfiest bed, and at night, as they lay together, Elsie felt that she was home. Looking up, she could see the diamond dust of stars in the sky. Everything seemed so perfect. It couldn't last. And Chapter 60. Ships ahoy! Ships ahoy! Came the cry one morning from the crow's nest of the Victory. All the old soldiers scrambled to the stern of the ship. There they jostled, eager to glimpse what their comrade at the top of the mast had seen. The sound of footsteps had woken up Elsie and Wooly too, and they joined the line of pensioners. The Admiral took out his telescope. A fleet of metal steamships stretched out across the horizon. "How many, Admiral?" asked Titch. "A dozen, I would say." "Can we outrun them?" asked Elsie. "We can darn well try." "Hurrah!" shouted the man. "Hoo!" joined in Wooly. The Admiral called out his orders to make this old ship go fast as she possibly could. HMS Victory felt as if she were taking flight as it soared across the sea. Yet, even at full speed, it was no match for modern steamships. "They're gaining on us!" yelled Elsie. "We're going at full speed," replied the Admiral. "Prepare the cannons!" With respect, Admiral, sir," piped up Titch. "We can't fire on our fellow countrymen." "No, you got a point there," mused the Admiral. "We'll be hanged as traitors." "There must be something we can do," exclaimed Elsie. "How many barrels of gunpowder have we got?" Dotty counted them. 1, 2, 4, 3, 4, 9, 3, 7, 6. A lot. Counting was not her strong suit. "A lot. Thank you, Dotty. I can count a dozen barrels. What if we rolled them out to sea?" "That's the most ridiculous idea I've ever heard, child. What a waste of jolly good gunpowder," replied the Admiral. "I haven't finished yet." "Ooh!" cooed the pensioners. "I will have no oohing on my ship," thundered the Admiral. "Do you understand me? Once you let all sailors ooh at one another, heaven knows where it will lead." The old men nodded, still smirking at their own naughtiness. "Hoo!" called out Wooly. "And less of your cheek, please," said the Admiral to the mammoth. "What was I going to say?" continued Elsie. "Is that we were going to roll the barrels out one by one, then we wait until the ships close in, then whoever is the best shot takes one of those musketeers and shoots them." "Shooting your own gunpowder?" thundered the Admiral. "I've never heard such poppycock." "With respect, sir," began Titch timidly, "I think the girl is on to something. It will create a smoke screen." "A smoke screen?" spluttered the Admiral. "Yes! Then we'll have a chance of losing the ships." "Right, men and, ladies, change track," boomed the old sailor. "When I give the order now, I want you to roll a barrel into the sea. Titch." "Yes, Admiral." "Do you know your way around a musket?" "Well, the thing is," he hesitated. The man was nervous. Only having the one medal, which was for service, the one all soldiers received, he had never thought of himself as a hero. The last thing Titch wanted was to let everyone down. Chapter 61. Open fire! "Good," replied the Admiral. As usual, he hadn't been listening. "Titch, when I give the order, fire, I want you to open fire on a barrel." Poor Titch was shaking with nerves. It was clear he didn't want to be put under all this pressure. One by one, the barrels were rolled into the sea. Roll, plop, Roll, plop! Roll, plop! Soon there were a dozen barrels of gunpowder bobbing around in water as the British naval fleet approached. "Titch, are you ready?" asked the Admiral. The poor private was struggling, trying to ram the gunpowder down the antique musket. "One moment, sir." Dotty tried to help by passing him the shot. "I can do it," he snapped. "Titch!" called out the Admiral. "Ready, sir." Titch raised the musket. "Fire!" The private took a deep breath. This was his moment to prove them all wrong, to prove that he could be a hero after all. Trembling, he did something he's never done in all his years as a soldier. He pulled his trigger. Click! Nothing happened. "Sorry, sir, I'm half-cocked." "Fire!" Bang! The force of the blast threw Titch off his arm. Instead of the shot firing across the sea towards the barrel, it skimmed over Woolly's head, parting her fur. Woo! Before blasting a huge hole in one of the HMS Victory's sails. "You bloody fool!" ragged the Admiral. "I'll have you court-martialed for this." "I'm useless," said Titch, bowing his head in defeat. "Give that musket to me, Private," ordered the Admiral. "Let him have another go," pleaded Dotty. "Are we at the fun fair?" asked the Brigadier. "I had me chance, and I blew it," Titch wailed in despair. "No, Titch," piped up Elsie. "You can do it. I know you can." She turned to the Admiral. "Please." The Admiral had a soft spot for the girl. "All right, then," he huffed. "But there are a dozen barrels and only a dozen cartridges. If he fails, that's it." "No pressure, my love," added Dotty, somewhat unhelpfully. The Admiral let out a long sigh. "Fire at will, Private." Titch loaded the musket and aimed. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and fired. Bang! The shot skimmed across the sea. The barrel of gunpowder exploded. A thick cloud of black smoke appeared. "Hurrah!" shouted the old soldiers on deck of HMS Victory. "Hoo!" hooted the mammoth. "You did it, Titch!" yelled Elsie. "My hero!" added Dotty. "One down, 11 to go," said Titch. "Fire!" ordered the Admiral. Kaboom! And another. Kaboom! Another. Kaboom! 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 3 in a row. Kaboom! Bullseye! Kaboom! Yes! Kaboom! One on a roll now. Kaboom! Easy. Kaboom! Final one. Kaboom! Against all the odds, Titch had hit every single barrel. Now there was a huge curtain of black smoke stretching out across the sea. "Hurrah!" shouted the soldiers. "Hoo!" added Wooly. Chapter 62. Down, but not out. "Silence!" ordered the Admiral. "Let's listen for their ships." Everyone on board fell silent. Far off they could hear the sound of horns hooting and engines grinding. Clang! There was even the sound of metal hitting metal as ships collided. Bash! Bang! Wallop! "Oops," said the Admiral. "We got 'em!" exclaimed Dotty. "Hoo!" shouted Wooly, punching her trunk into the air in triumph. "They're the British Naval Fleet," began the Admiral. "The best in the world. They're down, but they're not out. The smoke will lift soon. We must act fast. We need to change the course if we're going to lose them." "Starboard, ho!" All on board went to work to make the ship dramatically change course to the right. Even the mammoth was getting the hang of sailing now. Using her trunk, she grabbed hold of the wheel, spinning it hard to the right. The ship leaned over way too fast that the old soldiers tumbled over. Wooly fell on top of the Admiral. "Hoo!" Dumph! Oof! Cried the Admiral. Get this giant furball off of me! Elsie smirked as she and all available hands on deck prized the mammoth off their leader. Thank goodness I'm not planning on having any more children, muttered the Admiral as he clambered to his foot. He limped over to the stern of the ship. Duff, duff, duff! Next, he took out his telescope and studied the sea behind them. The curtain of smoke was slowly lifting. Elsie sidled up to him and Wooly followed. The mammoth was intrigued. She plucked the telescope out of his hands with her trunk. Swipe! Get off that! He snapped before snatching it back. He then turned to Elsie. Please try and control your pet mammoth. I'll try, sir, she replied with a grin. I can't see any ships, he said. I think we've done it. My goodness, we've done it. Just then, Elsie spotted a shape poking out of the curtain of smoke. There! She shouted. The Admiral put the telescope back up to his eye. Blast! One of them has got through! We can't give up now, Admiral, said the girl. Never! Now, listen up, men, and, woman, and, of course, girl, began the Admiral. Who? Added Wooly, not wanting to be left out. Yes, apologies, replied the Admiral, rolling his eyes. And listen up, mammoth. One of the ships has got through. Oh, no, came a chorus of replies. We have to prepare for the worst. In less than an hour, they would have reached us. We must be ready to be boarded. Men and, women and, of course, girl. Who? Wooly reminded him. And who can forget mammoth? We have no more shot. The gunpowder is gone, but you must arm yourselves with whatever you lay your hands on. Yes, sir, came a chorus of replies. Good luck, men, and everyone else not contained in that umbrella term. Immediately, the deck of HMS Victory was a hive of activity, as all on board went about arming themselves. There weren't enough cut glasses to go around, so most of the old soldiers picked up brooms and mops. Slowly but surely, British naval ship that was still pursuing them came into focus. She was the mighty HMS Argonaut, named after the crew of Jason's ship, the Argo, in ancient Greek mythology. With 4 huge funnels pumping smoke from his coal engine, the Argonaut was powering through the waves, right towards the Victory. With their makeshift weapons in their hands, the old soldiers were ready for the worst. The Admiral approached Elsie. You are but a child. I think it's best if you go below deck. You kidding? Replied Elsie, reaching for a long wooden sail baton. I wouldn't miss it for the world. We'll make a soldier of you yet, said the Admiral. He took it off his wooden leg and brandished it, ready to do battle. Forgetting he couldn't stand up on his one leg, he wobbled for a moment before hitting the deck. Thump! That's the end of these chapters, folks. If you enjoyed, please do not forget to like and subscribe, and comment down below which book I should read after this one. See you guys in the next chapters. Bye-bye.